So 2 days ago, I think I told my chat that I was gonna have some repairmen come in to fix some things, like my dryer is broken, there's a hole in my wall, I wonder why. No, it wasn't me, guys, I promise. So 2 days ago, he came in, he took a look at the dryer and he was like, oh yeah, I can fix it. So the first like hour or so, he was fixing it, okay? You know, when people come to your home to like fix things, you don't just like walk away and shit. You like kind of sit near them to just make sure they don't fuck anything up, and number two, steal shit. I don't have anything to steal, honestly. So I was in the living room watching I was watching Netflix, okay? I was watching some drama show. The second hour, you know, I felt kind of bad that he stayed this long, so I was like, hi, so would you like some water? And the guy was like, yeah, sure, that'd be amazing. And then he was like, Ashley, do you have coffee? Oh, I don't. Sorry, I don't drink coffee, but I have tea. And he's like, yeah, tea would be so amazing. I needed to make him understand, like, oh, by the way, it's like hot tea. It's not like, you know, like tea where you put like fruit in it and then put some fucking matcha, fruit, apple, and then like some peppermint. Like, I don't make that shit, you know? Basically, I was like, yeah, this is like tea from Asia, you know, the loose leaf, the hot water, the waiting, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, I've never tried it before, but I'd love to try it. And I'm like, okay. This is the part where I get excited, because when people are interested in tea, the first thing I do is I open my cabinet and there's just like a wall of tea, okay? It's like my collection. It's like the museum that nobody ever wants to visit unless they mention that they want to drink tea, and then I'm like, I got you. Okay? So I open up my entire cabinet. I'm like, okay, what kind of tea would you like? You know? So the dude, first of all, he's like astonished. He's like, oh my god, that's a lot of tea. I was like, yes. So I like go like, this is Earl Grey, okay, this is oolong, this is pu'er. Okay, I start speaking Chinese and he's really confused because he does not speak any Chinese at all, okay? And I'm like, this is sencha, this is matcha. And the guy looks at it, gets really overwhelmed, and he's like, what do you recommend? I'm like, okay, how are you feeling hot? Are you cold? Do you have stomach problems? Look, I basically brought out my doctor's degree, and I was like, okay, so if you're not feeling well here, I can give you this sort of tea. If your feet hurt, I can give you this sort of tea. If your head hurts, I can give you that sort of tea. The guy's just like, honestly, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it to you. And I was like, okay. So I start him off easy. I'm like, okay, it's summer, so it's hot, so I'm gonna give you sencha. So he drinks the tea, okay? And then he looks at me. This motherfucking bitch, I swear to God. He looks at me, he's like, it's okay. You know, this is why I don't put an effort into like people, you know, like in this, like, it's, bro, just like, okay. No, I swear to God, no, it's not me, guys. The tea was so good. I drank the tea afterwards. I'm like, bro, this tea is so good. I'm pretty sure he's just not used to the taste. You know, but lie or something, you know? It's an acquired taste. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Yeah. Fix my dryer, bro. So, he looked at me with the most sincere smile I've ever seen in my life. He looked at me, he's like, it's okay. You know, and in my head, I'm just like, it's okay. Your palate is just incompetent. It's not your fault. It's just your genes, okay? I gave him tea, right? So I was thinking like, oh yeah, he could drink this while he's working on it. Working on the dryer, continuing to work on it. The guy starts sitting down. I'm like, he starts sitting down on my couch. I'm like, okay. That's when I'm like, okay, I mean, like, I did give him tea, so maybe he just wants to finish it before he continues, you know, like a 2-minute break. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, maybe he's tired or something, I don't know. So he sits down on my yeah, in my head, I'm like, this guy's making himself feel at home, okay. So he sits down on the couch, and I'm sitting on a chair in the living room because I'm about to continue watching, you know, Selling Sunset. Then he starts off conversations, you know. He looks over to my Niji merch, which I totally forgot to put away. He looks to the side, he looks at my merch, he's like, so, you like anime and manga? I'm like, oh shit. I start swelling my balls. I'm like, shit, I was like, yeah. I start changing my voice by, you know, like an instinct because, you know, I don't know, I'm famous, guys. So I was like, yeah, I like anime and manga. Yeah. Sorry, I have a cold, you know? So then he's like, oh yeah, I don't really know too much about it, but I like anime. I watch a little bit too. And I was just like,
Yeah, what kind of anime do you watch?
and the guy goes like, Hunter, Hunter. And then my voice goes back to normal. I'm like, Hunter, Hunter, oh my god. Alira's favorite anime. I'm just like, oh my god, I love Hunter, Hunter. Hunter, Hunter is so good. So then I was like, oh my god, I love Hunter, Hunter. Did you read the manga? He's like, no, I don't read manga. I just watch the anime. I was like, oh, what other animes have you watched? He's like, I've watched, I forgot what and then he was like, do you have any other animes you want to recommend me? I was like, I looked at the guys, and, he likes to, like, repair things. He likes to go outside. He talked a lot about himself. He was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, this man likes shonen anime for sure. Like, if there's one shonen anime that I really, really like, it's Haikyuu. So I recommended him. I showed him a Google image of like, Kageyama because he's one of my favorite characters. So I'm like, okay, this is a really good anime, shonen anime about like a bunch of, I don't know, is it middle schoolers or high schoolers who like are competing in the tournament for volleyball. And he's like, oh, I love volleyball. Yeah, me too, in anime. And he's like, do you play volleyball? I'm like, no. I don't play volleyball. I watch volleyball. And he's like, oh, you watch the tournaments. I'm like, no, I watch Haikyuu. Like, bro, I'm trying. The guy thinks I'm a normie. I'm like, do you look at my setup? Hello? Then he changes the topic into like sports, right? He's like, do you like to go outside? And I'm like, no. Yeah, I don't really like go outside, because of my work. And he's like, what do you do? I was like, oh shit. But good thing Enna Alouette always has some sort of preparation in mind. I'm an audio engineer. Okay, that's the best thing I can come up with because I kind of know something about it because I sing. So I was like, yeah, I'm an audio engineer. And the guy was like, wow, you must know a lot because I've never heard anybody say that. What does that mean? I was like, and then he was like, you work for Beyonce? I was like, no, I don't work for Beyonce, but I work for people who strive to become like Beyonce. So it's like kind of the same thing, Anyway, so he was asking like, what? How does it work? How does audio engineering work? And I'm just trying to like explain it to him, and he just looked super interested, man. And at this point, I still just think he was like a really nice dude. Like he was just like a chill dude. He was honestly very nice from the start to the end. And he was just like asking a bunch of questions, and I was just like, yeah, that's what I do. But I don't really go outside. And he's like, you must have really good ears. I was like, yeah, I think so. I mean, like, when people snore, I can't fall asleep. When people talk in their sleep, I can't fall asleep. When people's dogs bark in the morning, I can't fall asleep. I would say I have sensitive ears, yeah. So then, what about the dryer? Okay, I know. At this point, I'm just like, okay, bro, like, am I paying for this or what's happening? So then, he starts asking more questions. He's like, yeah, do you have any hobbies? I was just like, oh, yeah, I like to sing. And then I fucking forgot that, like, oh shit, usually if you say that, people will ask like, oh my god, do you have like a YouTube? Do you have like examples of your singing? And I'm just like, oh shit, I should not have said that I sung. The guy was just like, oh, you like singing? He looked first of all, this got me kind of offended. He looked super surprised. I said, I like to sing, And this guy looks at me, he's like, oh, really? I'm just like, why? What do you think? I can't sing or something? Bitch, what the fuck? Why? You want to see? Like, hello? What's wrong with my voice? What do you think is wrong with my voice? Like, say it to my face. I want you to say, whatever the fuck you thought in your head, I want you to say it to my face. I was like, why? Do you think I can't sing? He's like, no, I'm just surprised. What kind of music do you like to sing? And then I looked over to my NIJI merch and I looked back at him. I'm like, anime? And he's like, yeah, of course. I was like, yeah, I've never gone to karaoke before, but I'd love to go with my friends one day. I was like, yeah, I go with my friends all the time, it's a good stress reliever. I just think about like me hanging out with Millie and Alira and just like singing our hearts out, And then he was like, yeah, I'd love to go to karaoke one day. It would be my first time. I was like, yeah, you should. Like, at this point, I'm still like really stupid. Like, when I look back on this scenario, I would have been like, girl, I think he thinks that you're flirting with him. And then he finished the tea and he went back to fixing on the dryer. He was working really hard. The guy was like sweating. Okay, my house is kind of like warm, so yeah, I was like, if you want more water, just let me know. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'd love, some water this time. So I gave him some water. He had to wait for like, a couple minutes for like something to work in the dryer. So he sat down. So this time he's not sitting on the couch. He's sitting on the living room table where I was sitting, watching Selling Sunset. So he sits on the chair right across from me while I was like watching this Netflix show. He wanted to talk to me, but I didn't stop the Netflix show. So he was trying to have a conversation. Yeah, it's gonna be about done. I just want to ask. So the guy sat down. He's like, hey, I really like your energy. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, I like your energy too. You're so nice. You're the nicest repair. At this point, my neurons weren't clicking. Okay, first of all, I just want to say, okay, I'm a little bit dumb. But number two, I was watching Selling Sunset. My head was like in this drama, thinking like, oh my god, like wow, so many friendly people in my house. Just one other person, but like, you know, I was just like, oh my god. I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, you're like the coolest repair person that's come into my house. Like everybody else just like, you know, does a shit job. But this guy was like really good with his job. Yeah, he was very serious about his job, right? And then he sat down and he's just like, yeah, I really like your energy. And I interrupted him. I feel like he was about to say something. I was like, oh yeah, I really like your energy too. You're like so nice, dude. And then he was like, yeah, and I was wondering if you wanted to hang out. And then when he said that, let's pretend this is my brain. Okay, this is Enna Alouette's brain, okay? These are all my neurons, okay? As soon as he said, yeah, I was wondering if you'd like to hang out. All the neurons in my brain connect like doot 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 doot. You know, like those like dot puzzles, like doot 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 doot. Okay, all the neurons in my brain connected, and in my brain, all the neurons came together and spelled you dumbass. Okay, like literally in my brain it was like you dumb fuck. I was like, oh shit. I have Rizz, but I don't even know when I'm using it. And then I do the most like, you know, every person that doesn't want anything more will say this line. They say this. They're like, as friends? I was like, I didn't even want to be this guy's friend. I just wanted him to fix my dryer and get out. You know, I don't want to make friends. I'm happy with my friends. My friends are on the internet, far away from me.